Okay, the parts just came from DHL. They came from Saudi Arabia, actually Dubai. I think the United Arab Emirates. Anyway, this is the fifth gear, this is the sleeve, and this is the split bearing. So I can fix my fifth gear issue with the transmission. Okay, so now before I can go any further, I'm gonna drain the oil for the transmission. So she's right up, golden looking plug right under the shaft. That's a drain. And that's your feeding plug right there. Hard to see, but it's right there. That's a feeding plug. Okay, so I'll get to work, and after I drain the oil, this is what I'm gonna be taking out. This housing over here, that's where the fifth gear is, inside here. So hopefully I got enough clearance to do the job. Okay, so I took that cover off over here. That's the cover on the side of the transmission that holds the fifth gear. You know, this is the lever, the sleeve, and that's the fifth gear right here. We got basically the lever, we got the sleeve, the fifth gear, and the bearing that go behind it. Okay, so now there is a bolt 12 millimeters right behind here, and a clip right in front of it. I can show you from the other side. Okay, so there's this bolt over here, 12 millimeters, needs to come out, and there's a, I don't know if you can see it, there's a clip over here that needs to come out, and then use a puller and pull this out. I may have to take this mount off and lower the transmission a little bit. I'm not sure if I have enough clearance. I'm gonna try. It looks like I can center it, so I'm gonna try to pull it. I may not be successful. I may have to pull down, take this bracket off over here, and drop the transmission just a little bit. But anyway, this is the synchronizer. Hopefully there's nothing wrong with the synchronizer, because I didn't get that. You know, synchronizer seemed to be good. Didn't have a problem going into gear. It didn't scratch or anything like that. So my take is the synchronizer is good. However, I won't know until I take it out. If I have to, and that's another $100, then I don't want to spend. But if it's necessary, I may have to. And it's a pain in the neck to rebuild. I mean, there's a lot of little gears and spring. This is a spring right there. You know, there's two springs, and if they don't go in precisely, this thing don't work. Okay, let me try to get it apart. Okay, so this is the sleeve that engages with the fifth gear. Okay, you have to be careful when you separate them. This only goes in, I mean, you can go in both ways, but if you put it the wrong way, you're not gonna have a functioning transmission. Anyway, you can see all the gears are grind off right there, so that's why it's not engaging. And keep in mind, only that much of it engages on the fifth gear. The rest is on the synchro. So only those tips over there are what's engaging on the fifth gear. And as you see, they're all damaged. This is how they're supposed to look, nice and healthy. Okay, this is the new one, and that's the old one. So I mean, it's easy to know how you put it on. As you can see, there's a bigger space over here than there is over here. So that's the way it goes. the longer space towards the fifth gear. The synchronizer off, that's what you need, harmonic balance puller. This thing basically it goes this way, by the way, so it gets mounted right there like this. I need to find the right screws that fit in these holes over here so I can pull it out. Okay, it shouldn't be too hard, but let's see what happens. Okay, the harmonic puller is on place. Maybe I'm lucky and I'm gonna be able to take it out without doing anything else to the transmission. So yeah, we all set. That's the synchronizer ready to come out. Alright, so we took all the gears out. Everything is nice and clean over there. I took the synchro apart, so I'm gonna put it back together. And this is the new gear, new fifth gear, and a new split bearing that goes inside here. One on each side, and becomes a full bearing. And that rides along that nice shaft over there that are already greased up. So, you know, that part is not very hard. The hard part is going to be the synchronizer. Anyway, the old fifth gear is here. It's all screwed up as well. All the teeth that shoot off. So, that was a good call to change it. Alright, let me put this guy together and then we're going to put everything back on. Actually, I'm going to put the fifth gear on first and show how that looks. Okay, the synchronizer is already on. I already got everything lubricated. Make sure you use gear oil and lubricate everything before you install it. And make sure, see these tabs over here needs to line up with the holes. Okay, you can move them, make sure they're lined up, because if you don't line them up, you're gonna have to take the synchronizer back out. So that's the only way they're gonna go in, if it's nice and lined up. Okay, so and now I have to gently tap it from this side to get it in. If you put too much, if you hammer it too hard, you may get the synchronizer to fall apart. There's nothing really keeping everything together on a synchronizer. Once it's boxed in with the fifth gear, nothing comes apart, because you're gonna put a clip on this side, so nothing comes apart. But in the meantime, it can fall apart while you put it in. All right, so let me use a socket and hammer and gently put that in. Okay, so we got the synchronizer pressed in. Now over here we need to put, I don't know if you can see it, but right in front there is that groove, and that's where the clip goes. Gonna press that clip in. So far looks very nice. Everything's lined up correctly. So we're ready to put that clip in. Clip goes right here. Just gonna press it in. That's where it goes. I'm gonna press it in, and then we're gonna put the sleeve and the arm. Okay. Okay. So next step, I'm gonna lubricate with gear oil the sleeve and the arm, and install it right. Well, let's see that shaft over there, and that's where it goes on top of the synchronizer, and locks up with the fifth gear and unlocks. So this basically moves in and out when you put the fifth gear, and it's got to lock up all right on the back when it's engaged. But that's where it goes right there. So I'm gonna lubricate it, put it on, and install the 12mm bolts. It goes right there. Okay, the arm is installed, the sleeve is installed. I already tested it. It goes on 5th gear, goes on reverse. So it's doing what it's supposed to. Let me show you how the gear works. I'm gonna put it on 5th gear. On reverse force, you're gonna see it's gonna snap all the way out. Okay, as you see, the arm now is all the way out. And now I'm gonna put it on 5th gear. It's gonna go all the way in. Okay, so now it's on 5th gear, and you can see the arm is all the way in, engaging the 5th gear over there. So this part of the job is done. Now we're gonna clean up that bad boy over there, and I'm gonna use some gasket makers, a black RTV kind of gasket maker. It's liquid, when it turns into solid, I'll show you in a second. Okay, we got it all nice and clean. I try to be environmental safe. I use shop rags, paper towels basically, to clean it all up, so no harsh chemicals. Besides, you don't want to breathe that stuff anyway, and it comes just as clean. Okay, now what I'm gonna be using is this stuff over here. Permatex forma gasket and sealant. So this stuff is non-hardening pliable sealant. So basically, it doesn't get hard. You know, it's kind of like a glue kind of thing. It's very sticky, and you know, even though this thing should be dry, it's still sticky on the outside. I mean, this is what it looks like. It's black, and it's very sticky. You know, when you put it on, this kind of glues to the other side. I mean, it'll come out, but it's stronger. A lot of aviation people use this stuff. It's stronger than regular gasket, and it's nothing gonna leak through. You know, it's waterproof, oil proof, you know, gasoline proof. You know, nothing really goes through that. So it's excellent for this kind of job. You don't want to worry about things leaking, so that will do it. So let me put the silicone on, the sealant. It's not a silicone. There's no silicone at all in that. So let me put the sealant on, and when I'm done putting it on, I'll show you how it looks like. Okay, so this is basically how it looks like. Be careful not to get it too much on the inside. I mean, it doesn't really do anything to it, but you know, try to be as clean as possible. You know, this thing is pretty good. Once it's set on, it will almost impossible then it will leak anything through. This thing is so it's basically like a kind of like a glue, but with a sealant kind of thing. So it will harden a little bit, but not that much. It will always stay kind of like gooey. So, and that's what it looks like. I'm gonna put this cover back on, and then we're gonna put the oil, and the job will be done. Okay, so we got the housing back in, and as you see, some of that black sealant squeezed out. Normally, just like a silicone would, but you know, that's the way it's supposed to act. When you squeeze it, you know, it's gonna basically squeeze out the extra, just like silicone. So, but the job is complete. Now, what I'm doing right now, I have this magnet. I'm gonna make sure I don't have any pieces of metal still inside the gears. Remember, we had a broken axle, so I'm gonna stick the magnet in there, see if anything comes out. and also on the shaft. It's not easy. Everything is metal around, so if there's any shavings, it will be on the magnet, but magnet seems pretty clean, just oil. I mean very little. So I'm gonna put oil. I'm gonna close that plug on the bottom. Oh yeah, I have one more thing. I'm gonna put that plug on the bottom, and this concludes and fill up the oil from that side, and this concludes on how to fix the fifth gear. Hope this is useful to some of you want to do your own and save some money. And if you like my video, please click on like and subscribe. Thank you. Bye.